And I think, at this age, it's a 50-50 fight for Manny Pacquiao.
A 46-year-old.
You know what, man? It's all up here and it's here. It's what you got. It's what you use.
Kind of like Pacquiao trying to hit a lick, you know what I mean? But Pacquiao not Pacquiao no more. It's tough to go against him in this situation because if it was some years ago, Pacquiao would beat Barrios.
Manny Pacquiao versus Mario Barrios. A 50-50 fight or a farewell. At 46 years old, Manny Pacquiao's return to the ring is stirring debate, excitement, and concern across the boxing world. Is this the final chapter of a legendary career or a bold new mission?
Have you got any thoughts on that fight with Mario Barrios, and is there any chance we see you still in there at 46?
Nah, at 46, I don't plan on being back in the ring, but Mario Barrios is a great matchup for Manny Pacquiao. And I think, at this age, it's a 50-50 fight for Manny Pacquiao.
Terrence Crawford called it straight. At this age, it's a 50-50 fight. While he respects Pacquiao's legacy, he can't ignore the impact of time. It's all up here, Crawford said, pointing to the mental game. But you lose some things too. Pacquiao isn't the same anymore. Sugar Ray Leonard echoed that mindset, choosing inspiration over caution. It's not the number, but the mindset that defines an athlete's ability. Leonard emphasized that greatness comes from within, from willpower, not just the body. Bob
Pacquiao, at 46, about to make his way back into the ring. I saw him training this morning, but a lot of people are worried about him. He's been inactive. Bob Arum, his longtime, guy, even said, I don't want to see him get hurt. Rooting for him, but I don't want to see him get hurt. What do you think as a guy, who's probably thought about getting back in the ring a few times? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you think?
Well, actually, I can't comment too harshly on that because I've made more comebacks than everybody. I hold a record, undisputed.
Yeah.
But you know what? Hey, do what you want to do, man.
Do you think the idea of like inactivity when you have somebody who lives his life to do it is a big deal?
It's a big deal, man. I mean, there's no one thing that will really make people understand why we do what we do. But you know what? God bless. Stay healthy. And take care.
Hey, last thing, like he's fighting a 30-year-old. What do you think? What would that be like, running with a motor like that? Later in your years, like against a 30-year-old motor, against like your body's just different. I'm 41, so like I know my body's different than it was when.
You're a baby.
But what do you think about that? Like the motor difference between a 30-year-old and a 46-year-old.
You know what, man? It's all up here and it's here. It's what you got. It's what you use. Again, there's no way to answer this, but stay healthy.
Arum, who promoted Pacquiao for years, took a more sobering stance. I don't want to see him get hurt, he said, acknowledging the wear and tear that comes with age and inactivity. I'm rooting for him, but with worry. Oscar de la Hoya offered heartfelt advice. Rest is your friend, Manny. He warned against overtraining, pointing to the dangers of pushing too hard at this stage. The power's probably still there. The speed? I'm concerned. Michael Buffer, boxing's most iconic voice, called the comeback epic. He sees this return not as a sideshow, but a serious effort. Pacquiao isn't chasing nostalgia. He's training with discipline and purpose. Roy Jones Jr. praised Pacquiao's fighting spirit. Manny's one of the few that could pull this off. He came back from knockouts early in his career.
Manny's one of your favorites all time. He's coming back now. He was off for 4 years. I've been watching him train every day. He looks like he hasn't missed a beat. He's sharp as could be.
And I wish him well. Big George, God rest his soul, was 45 when he won the heavyweight title. Bernard was 43, 44, 45 when he won his third world title. So, I mean, listen, miracles can happen. He's focused, he looks fit, and I wish him well. I love him. Wish him the best.
Mutual.
Picture?
Yep.
Okay, hold on.
Takes something special. Still, even he acknowledged the risk. You gotta go out on your shield. That's how the greats do it. Abel Sanchez was clear-eyed. It's a winnable fight, but risky. He noted that while Barrios may not be the best in the division, he's still alive.
To tell them to hang him up. He's older. He's been out of the ring. He's fighting I'm not gonna say a young champion, but he's fighting a very decent champion. Probably the lesser of the three of the welterweight champions. But he is getting up in age. Will he be able to recapture some of that speed and snap to his punches? Who knows? But George Foreman did it at a much, much later age. So Manny has a chance. I think that he has a chance against a good champion.
Do you feel like with Mario Barrios in particular then, it's a champion they've targeted because in his last performance, he didn't really, set the world alight. It was a draw and he's left a few question marks around himself.
Not only that, the other thing is Norman is a very good fighter, and so is Boots. I mean, you're talking about two very, very good fighters that are, I think, on a different level than Barrios is.
Do you feel like that this could be the risk though? Let's say if Manny was to have success, was to become champion again, then he then looks at it and thinks, oh, can I go on a run? Can I get one of these other names?
That is a big risk, but I don't think that would be the fight that, well, those two wouldn't be the fights that they would be looking for. I'm sure that if Manny is fortunate enough to be in great shape, and listen, Freddie's a master. Freddie will figure out a way to win a fight that's winnable, and maybe then guide him towards other
dangerous champion. Freddie Roach will try to craft the right plan, but Manny needs to be smart. History has shown surprises. George Foreman did it, but that doesn't make it common. Robert Garcia was perhaps the bluntest. He shouldn't be fighting. Though he respects Pacquiao's name and legacy, he believes the physical toll is simply too much. It won't be the same Pacquiao. Speed goes first. Legs go first. And that's what made him special. Teddy Atlas offered a more technical take, suggesting Barrios isn't as physically overwhelming as other welterweights. He's not a natural 147.
You're 46 years old. You have to remember that. So give your body some rest. Rest right now is Manny Pacquiao's friend in between training, in between sparring sessions. There's no shame in taking a day off or two, Manny. Trust me. Let your body relax, let your body rest. He'll do fine. He's experienced, he's got obviously the power, because it never leaves you. The speed I'm a little worried about, but I think, look, Barrios is a live dog. He's a world champion, and he's no slouch. So I think it's going to be a good fight. I wish Manny all the best. I'm not sure who's going to win. I really haven't seen Barrios, but I think Barrios, I mean, the youth is obviously with him in his corner.
7, Atlas said. That might work in Manny's favor. But still, Barrios is young, active, and throws a lot of punches. That's a lot to deal with at 46. Greg Hackett didn't sugarcoat it. Sounds like Pacquiao trying to hit a lick. This is a money fight. He acknowledged that a younger Pacquiao would have washed Barrios, but today, Barrios might beat him behind the jab. It's more of a good fight for Barrios.
Retirement.
Well, Pacquiao's a big name, and obviously Barrios a great fight for Barrios because he's a champion, and I think Pacquiao, being that they both have connections with PBC, that's the easiest fight to make. So, getting another title opportunity, I just the name obviously, but I really believe that Pacquiao shouldn't be fighting. I think it's actually going to be a little. I don't want to say sad because he's going to make a lot of money, so we can't feel sorry for him. But at 46, almost 47, it's almost impossible for I'm just 4 years older, 3-4 years older than him, and it's not easy to try to think you're gonna get in shape and be able to perform like the way you were when you were in 20s and 30s.
You think it's impossible for him to beat Mario Barrios right now?
Well, it's not impossible because he has power. That he should have that power. Barrios is big and a strong boy, so I don't see that happening. But is it possible? Anything's possible. George Foreman did it. There's been others that do it. But I really don't see it happening.
But Pacquiao's speed's the name of his game. Do you think he doesn't have that. There's no way he doesn't have the same speed as before.
There's no way, bro. You guys, I don't know if you guys seen his last performance.
The exhibition where against that big guy.
It was actually embarrassing to see that shit. You know, so it wasn't that good. It wasn't that good. You know what I mean?
If Pacquiao wins, what does that do for him? Where does that put him all time?
Hell, come on, at that age, after like few years, I don't know how many years he's been out, that'd be impressive. It's hard to think it's gonna happen, but that shit would be nice, man. It would be nice. Very few have done it, and he's actually one that could do it.
Chris Mannix and Sergio Mora offered some optimism, pointing out Pacquiao's sharpness in training. Mora noted, he's still fluid, still fast. He's not treating this like a joke. Jesse Rodriguez, however, raised a red flag. I'm surprised he's coming back. At this age, against a younger guy like Barrios, that's dangerous, especially in the later rounds when recovery slows. And yet, among all the opinions, one truth stands. Pacquiao is no ordinary fighter. He's an 8-division champion, a man who's defied expectations for decades. Even his critics admit, if anyone could do it, it's Manny. But the question remains, is this return about legacy or just legacy money? Please like and subscribe my YouTube channel.